has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. It's Ferrall, the best coast to coast in the biggest way possible. Hanging out the bad seat, the bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live in New York City, the Big Apple. People dressed in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fashion shake-it-up, along with the original OG Carver High. Mafia running it with Luga Emil Ha, the C to C on a thirsty Thursday. And what a lineup today. Unbelievable. We've got Gabe Morency from Vancouver per usual. And how about Craig Milkowski from the Daily Racing Form? We're ready for Saratoga, and the Belmont moved up to the Spa for the race on Saturday. So we'll hit it. Plus, Coach Young on the Lion's Share, Davis Maddock from Fantasy Sports today will give us his plays for tonight as well. And Adam Kaplan is our NFL insider. We got some day ball going on today, Carver. Hi, how you doing, buddy? Done with community service. And it appears that, you got the letter from the judge. It may be ending. I may see light at the end of the tunnel. They actually might let us celebrate our birthdays together this year on the 28th and 29th of July. I may be out of this hole, this pit I'm in, starting in July.
Sounds like that's possible. Looks like you might be getting off. The judge is going to let you off of that list now that you've been on for the last little while. So
he still had me do the pink chips in the urinals at the Garden, though. That was humbling. That'll teach you.
Well, look, you have to do what you have to do. You weren't going to get off completely. That's for sure. That wasn't going to happen.
Murder was the case that they made me.
We do have, as you mentioned, some day baseball here this afternoon. The Blue Jays lead the Orioles 6-1. That is in the bottom of the seventh up in Toronto. Of course, the Orioles smashed them the first couple of nights. Blue Jays got back at them last night. They're going to try to split this 4-game series. They're looking good so far. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. has a homer in this game. If it's possible, Scotty, maybe Ryan Mountcastle would like to homer for the Orioles before they end this game today. That would help me a lot if we could get that working. The Royals and the Guardians are in Cleveland this afternoon. That is tied at 3 in the top of the 6th inning. They were rained out last night, and now they are getting together here. And there is only one other game in the afternoon, and it starts in about 25-30 minutes out at the dump, where Brian Wu and J.P. Sears and Roebuck will get together for the Mariners and the A's, Scotty. The Mariners, of course, road favorites here, although the A's did get him last night.
Yeah, but Wu's a problem for them today. This guy gives up nothing, no runs. He's got a super low whip. He hasn't lost yet. He's been very tough for them. I think it's a reason why they're 7 games over 500. I like Seattle.
Yeah, I like Seattle here too, especially after losing last night to have themselves a little comeback. So we've got a couple of afternoon games. We've got a lot of games tonight that we are going to get into later on Coast to Coast as well. Also live action, we have the Memorial Jacks Tournament over in Muirfield Village, Dublin, Ohio, is where they are at this weekend. Big signature event with all the heavy hitters at the top, and just taking the lead, Adam Hadwin, the Angry Itch, as you like to call it.
Angry Itch in the lead. Oh, my God.
6 under par for Adam Hadwin, surging up the board here as he has 3 birdies in a row, 13, 14, and 15, to get himself into that spot at the top. Scotty Scheffler is in the clubhouse at 5 under. Xander Schauffele and Ludwig Aubert are also at 4 under. I see Rory is out on the course right now, not playing very well. I have a few guys in the mix here, Scotty. I've got Hovland. I've got Morikawa, who's off to a pretty good start this afternoon. I've got Homa, too. So we have a few guys, as always, at the Memorial this weekend. Always a great tournament. Everybody loves Jack. They want those milkshakes when they get back in the clubhouse after, and the big hug from Jack on Sunday when they win this tournament.
Yeah, and then Scheffler, I hear that he's been having just dire straits with the post-arrest syndrome. The PTSD from the arrest obviously affecting him dramatically today as he shot 5 under. So it's really gotten to him. He talks about how he's just never felt the same since Louisville, and that he's trying to get over it. I always get over things that I'm having problems with in my life, and I have a lot of them when I shoot a 5 under. Like, you have no problems when you shoot a 5 under, okay, right. Romeo? Go home to your wife or something and have a martini. I mean, 5 under at the Cape Cod Open, you would 19th hole, you'd be at the 20th hole.
Honestly, all I've heard is this guy talk all week about it, and then he goes out and he plays great golf. I watched him play a couple holes today.
I don't want to hear
it. And he just looks like his old self, and he's going to be a problem, of course, for everybody this weekend out there at Jack's tournament. So we'll keep our eye on that as well. As far as what we have later on, finally, I feel like it's been forever since we've had an NBA game. It's been a full week. The Mavericks and the Celtics, game 1 in Boston tonight, Scotty. I am so sick and tired. At least when you were at community service the last 2 days, you didn't have to talk about this game anymore. Yeah. Finally, we're going to play it here tonight between the Celtics and the Mavs.
Well, it's better than the Super Bowl, which is 2 weeks from hell, of talking about the same thing for every day for 2 weeks and nonstop. Yep. That's all we talk about. And then, you go out there to the Super Bowl, whatever, the week of, and you've just spent a week talking about it. And then it's like playing a tape over again as you go through it all again for another cycle of a week. So I didn't have that big of a deal on a week off. I've looked at this thing from all angles of the greatest backcourts in history in the NBA. I heard someone today say this kind of is the best final since LeBron took on Golden State and beat them when they were down 3-1, right, and came back to beat them. This is as good as it gets as far as I'm concerned with these two backcourts. Like, I want to see which one. All I've heard is if Tatum doesn't win, he's going to start getting shredded by people that he can't, win it. He can get there, but he can't win it. And then, a lot of people say, well, Luka's the best player in the NBA, the highest scorer in the NBA. He's led every player in playoff points, rebounds, assists, steals. Can you believe that? Steals, this fat, slow dude has the most steals. I think it's that he reads the game so well, sees the floor so well, anticipates so well. I don't think he plays defense. I think he can read when a guy's, that trajectory pass, like when you're just looking at someone, you're going to make that pass. He sees that stuff before it happens. I want to see which guy's the bigger stud. This comes down to, for me, and we already know Brown and Irving just score it ad nauseum at will. I want to see who the MVP is, the badass that's going to win the Larry. Is it going to be Luka or is it going to be Tatum? That's what it boils down to me.
That's precisely what it all boils down to. This is a star-powered NBA Finals that we are going to have starting tonight. Don't have to hear any more about Kyrie going back to Boston, Porzingis playing Dallas. Enough. Let's finally get it cooking. We're still a couple days away from the Cup Final. We will give you some updated numbers there today as well. I mentioned we have a ton of baseball games tonight, including, man, Sky, the Twins never beat the Yankees, right? We've talked about this for years.
Season sweet.
They never beat the Yankees. You can change the players. You can change the managers, owners, uniforms, stadiums. It doesn't matter. They never beat the Yankees. Bottom line.
And you know what's crazy is the numbers that Judge and Soto and Giancarlo Stanton are putting up. He's got 15 as well. Bashed another one last night. So that's amazing. And then today, the stunning development of Danny Hurley in negotiations with the Lakers to be the next head coach of the Lakers. So much for J.J. Redick, apparently, right? It sounds to me like that Danny Hurley's going to take that job. I would be stunned at this point if it doesn't happen.
and now you have to qualify in these majors. You got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships.
Mm-hmm.
So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Using the parlays against one another, right, and being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you use, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer, too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It's the BetMGM offer of the week. Get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. For all the games, all season long. Come out swinging with picks and parlays and turn any game into a must-watch. Download the BetMGM app, and it's on.
You can catch the great Sports Rage late night on SportsGrid at 10 Eastern until 1 in the morning every weeknight. And, of course, it's on all of our affiliates, all of our TV stations, all of our outlets, all of our streaming services, on radio, on 1090 ESPN in San Diego near Tijuana. Do you wanna? From the Baja to the Canadian Rockies, all over the West Coast. Also on Sports Byline and their great affiliates out of San Francisco, Deepak holding it down for us, and on satellite all over the Southern Hemisphere. On SiriusXM channel 159, Morency joins us every day on C2C. Thank God for that. And Gabe, I got to tell you, if they offer this guy, now all these deals in the NBA are very similar. They're 5-year deals. And I think that if they truly want him, Danny Hurley, that Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka have to, frankly, offer him 10 years and a boatload of money and total control of the Lakers to build what, frankly, Riley and Phil Jackson did there. And they've already said they're making him a long-term massive offer. And I believe that. And I also believe that he's wanted to do this in his life. He's wanted to go to the NBA. And he's conquered all at UConn, winning back-to-back. Now, some people say, oh, he's going to go for a third chip. And that would be, Wood territory, Krzyzewski, Patino. They all have multiples. But what does he really have to prove in Storrs, Connecticut? If someone offers you the world to run the Los Angeles Lakers, you're going to turn that down? I don't think so. And let me tell you something else. He's a coach. This guy's a great coach. And J.J. Redick is a mouth and a player. That's what he is. He's never coached a day in his life. Not even a little kid, like little girls basketball league. He's never coached anything in his life.
There's a saying, Scott, just because you want something doesn't mean it's going to happen. And I don't disbelieve that the Los Angeles Lakers would like Hurley to be their coach. But if you're Hurley, and why would you take this job? It's not a good job. Frank Vogel won a championship and they threw him under the bus. Darwin Ham was brought in after and he's thrown under the bus. LeBron is the coach of this team. And as far as Hurley is concerned, so you come in, you just said it. So you're going to take, let's say, a 5-year offer. All right. Let's say they offer him a 5-year deal, 7-year deal, and, $15 million a year, something stupid, whatever it is. Make him the highest paid coach in the league. For what? So what? LeBron is going to be there for another year or two? Like what? So what are you getting? And then after you got to rebuild with the Los Angeles Lakers? How is this some sort of like dream gig? Doesn't matter who you are. They'll throw you under the bus fast. Like, it doesn't make sense from a basketball standpoint for Hurley. It really doesn't. And if Hurley comes, he's not winning a championship. John Wooden could freaking, coach this team. Who cares? LeBron James and AD run everything. They're old. They don't shoot threes. They're like the anti-modern NBA team. And they don't have a lot of salary room. They don't have any young stars. And another thing is, too, I look at Hurley. The guy's he's a great coach, Scott. He's also a flat-out bully, bro. Right? That doesn't work in the NBA. He's never coached in the NBA. He doesn't have any NBA credibility. What did you do? So what? All right, your father's a big legend, and you yell at kids in college. Good for you. Did it work for Nick Saban? No. Did it work for Urban Meyer? No. So I'm not even Danny Hurley. Really? And what? So Hurley just convinced all these kids to come, and now he's going to put a knife in everyone's back as they're going for a three-peat here? It's my take, Scott. I say that Danny Hurley will not be the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. It's a hot topic. The Lakers throw this stuff out there all the time, too, right? And who the hell's even running that team? Is it Kurt Rambis? Is it Kurt Rambis, pretty much?
I don't think Kurt Rambis is running anything.
He's not even on the payroll, Scott. Yes, he is, bro.
This is the biggest. But he's not running. He's not running the team. He's not running the team.
Boss, he's the number one consultant, Scott, of the LA Lakers. Not on the payroll. He's the number one consultant with Jeannie Buss. She leans on dude, anyone who follows the Lakers knows Kurt Rambis has the effing ear of the office, Scott. It's not a secret. Now, there's a million. Rob Pelinka gets blamed for things. Pelinka is just there. He doesn't control anything, right? He's like the fall guy all the time. But, and Jeannie Buss, let's be real. I mean, dude, the Lakers in name, Scott, yeah, it's a great job. It's the brand name. And a lot of people would love to have the job. But if you're Danny Hurley, why would you want it? You look at Harbaugh, bro.
It's the best job in the NBA. It's the biggest job in the NBA, and it's in Los Angeles.
It's not the best job
Southern
in the
California.
NBA. It's a big job.
You and I both lived there, and you loved it. You still go back and hang out at Lemmy's bar. Who doesn't love Southern California?
I'll take the job.
If someone offered you $20 million a year to do your show in Los Angeles, you would move there so fast your head would spin.
Yeah, but Danny Hurley's already making a ton of money, and now he's going to get more money.
He's not making that kind of money.
He's not making that kind of money now. He'll get more money from them now. I don't think it'll be him.
He's already making more than the governor in Connecticut.
It's a bad job, Scott.
It's not a bad job. It's a great job.
I would understand if, they said, all right, listen, Hurley, we want you to coach the Oklahoma City Thunder. It'd be like, all right, you're telling me I got I got 5 under 25-year-old stars here? Harbaugh's got a 5-year deal, bro. He's got Justin Herbert in his prime. Hurley's going to give everything up to go, and LeBron talks about retiring every 2 weeks after? And now I got to deal with Bronny James?
Well, he is going to leave in a year, and that'll be that. This is about if they give him long-term to bring in the players that he wants, to develop a program that he wants at the NBA level, there is no better job than the Los Angeles Lakers.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game time decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
In-game live, prime time.
3-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
In-game live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
If you're in the room, what are you doing with the Judge MVP number? Books are now 2-1, standalone favorite. What are you doing with the Judge number?
What do I do with the MVP? I let them bet Judge at what? Even money? Come on in. I mean, you have to acknowledge now that he's the guy.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole is getting ready to come back too. I guess this. Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, "Look, don't come back." I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
He's the biggest name in coaching, bar none. And if Mazzulla can coach the Celtics when he was, the water boy, then don't tell me Dan Hurley can't coach the Lakers. And I'll agree with you about this. It's LeBron and AD's team. Well, pick your poison.
So let me ask you, though, Scott.
Pick your poison.
Let me ask you.
Neither one of them listen to the coach, but they don't tell Ham or Vogel or anybody what to do or tell them how to do it or think that they're running the team. They just don't listen to them. And I think
let me ask you, Scott.
I think Hurley would know he'd have to put up with that for about 1 year. And then if Davis didn't want to deal with it after that, they'll get rid of him.
And then start all over and be on a bottom feeder in a tough Western Conference. Let me ask you something.
Well, the Lakers aren't going to disintegrate. The Lakers aren't going away because of LeBron and Davis or anyone else. 20 years from now, the Lakers will still be the biggest franchise in the NBA. And if I'm wrong, why do they set up shop there? ESPN and everyone else. The Lakers are on TV more than any team in the world, and they're not even good.
They don't win. Well,
like I said. But they're still the Lakers.
Yeah, and there's also the Dallas Cowboys. There's still the Montreal Canadiens. And I'm not just, it's a sexy job. It's all that. I get that.
Well,
but
the Dallas Cowboys are always on national television. The Montreal Canadiens aren't. No one cares about them.
The Kansas City Chiefs win Super Bowls all the time. So
that's all that
who
matters,
cares about being on
they
TV
still
all the time,
show the Cowboys more.
So what, Scott, you really think Danny Hurley's goal in life is to be on ESPN and be on TV and be in Hollywood?
No,
the guy's a winner. He wants to win. So let me ask you something.
Well, he's already done all that. Why not at the next level? Why not the next level?
If Danny Hurley takes over this job next year, what happens to the Lakers next year? The same damn thing. They make the playoffs, and then they lose, and then they get bounced out. They're not as good as everybody else. They need to retool the entire roster. They've hit a wall with what they're at right now.
I would agree with that.
It just is.
But with him.
Yeah, but with Frank Vogel, they won a championship a couple of years ago. There would be the same team with Ham as they will be with Hurley, bro.
Frank
They're not going to win any more games.
Frank Vogel, just so we're clear, is like having an ugly wife.
Well, he won an NBA championship.
He did. He got a ring, and he still don't matter.
He
got a ring because of LeBron
to you,
James.
he doesn't.
And Kawhi Leonard is why Toronto got a ring. And the Lakers got Frank Vogel a ring because of LeBron James. Let's be clear.
So what's the deal? So whoever coaches the Lakers, you don't get credit if you win, but it's your fault if you lose?
Well, it's been that way for a long time, hasn't it?
Well, that's just
that's their problem.
Reality, but
that's their problem.
No,
but they didn't have that problem when Riley and Jackson were there.
Well, you're talking about Pat Riley.
That's
bro,
what they're
and Phil
looking
Jackson.
for. They're looking for the next Riley and Jackson, and they think by going
Dude, they
after.
don't know what they're looking
well,
for.
First of
Scott.
all,
they do.
Well,
They've
apparently they
interviewed
do know
12
what they're
people,
looking
bro.
for, in the sense that they just went, and all day today we have heard that they are making him a gigantic offer, and he admitted to his players today that they've made him a gigantic offer, and he has to figure out what he wants to do. Now, I won't dispute you that he would possibly stay in stores. I think that's certainly an alternative. That's the easy alternative. He's got that job locked down for life. But the real challenge, and you got to understand, like, I know his dad, I know his brother, I know him. And he is, trust me, I've been friends with him. He's crazy. He is crazy. And he wants challenges that no one thinks that he can do. Back to back. They didn't think we could do it. We did that. And he knows he's got an empire. Now it's like, oh, you don't think I can fix the Lakers? He's crazy like his dad was. His dad's practices in high school at St. Anthony's were the hardest practices in the history of basketball at any level.
So you think that's going to work in the NBA? Like, that's going to work.
I think that's what the Lakers need. I think that's what they need.
So what? LeBron James and AD need to be yelled at? Austin Reeves needs to be yelled at?
That's what they need to do is get rid of them. That's what they need to do is get rid of him. Because all the talk about Austin Reeves being some kind of baller, he's a white dude that made a bunch of threes and everyone got all excited.
But if you say he sucks, then why would Hurley want that job?
All the rest. What's that?
Then why would Hurley want that then? They just signed Austin Reeves to a long-term deal.
They're going to give Hurley all the power to revamp the entire thing over a long period. That's what their goal is. That's what their aim is. I won't dispute,
give Hurley.
I won't dispute that it sounds crazy, but that's exactly what they're doing. To develop a program in the sense of what he did at UConn at the NBA level, it can be done. It can be done.
It's never been done.
Teams, well, like they build teams to win championships and
Billy
to win
Donovan
titles
won
and to have
twice,
dynasties.
Has he ever won in the NBA?
Morency. Great.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game time decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
In-game live, prime time.
3-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
In-game live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
If you're in the room, what are you doing with the Judge MVP number? Books are now 2-1, standalone favorite. What are you doing with the Judge number?
What do I do with the MVP? I let them bet Judge at what? Even money? Come on in. I mean, you have to acknowledge now that he's the guy.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole is getting ready to come back too. I guess this. Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, "Look, don't come back." I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
so we're clear, I love Morency. We have always argued for 30 years and had fun doing it, and we were usually drunk, and we argue about sports all day, all night, and very loudly, and that sounded to me like a Sunday on SportsGrid with us doing the 1 o'clock games. That's what that was. But I got to ask you, Mike, just plain and simple, you know this guy. Mafia knows him. He's come on the show. He's crazy. He's crazy, and he's like his dad. I think his brother is maybe, I'll give you this, like up to his kneecaps only in terms of how great he is at what he does. He's the spitting image of his father. He ran a very tight ship at St. Anthony's, the tightest in the history of basketball anywhere at any level. And then all those titles prove how good he was. And his son, Danny, is literally the mirror spitting image of him. And he's run it the same way at UConn, and it works. And he'll run it the same way in the NBA. And anyone that's not going to be on board with that, they'll get rid of. It's real simple. You're going to do it his way or the highway. Now, it's funny. They say Tibbs is tough, and nobody wants to play for Tibbs, and that's just not true. And the guys that hold players accountable in the NBA, I think, have some level of respect and success. Somebody has to come along that isn't a pansy ass like Darvin Ham and Frank Vogel. And let's be clear, Vogel got that ring because of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Let's not kid ourselves. He can't coach his way out of a wet paper bag anywhere else. That's proven the pudding of what he's worth. So my question is simple. If someone offered you 10 years and $20 million a year and total power to run it your way, and no one's allowed to say a word to you, and you call the shots, I do not believe for 1 minute that Kurt Rambis calls shots on the Lakers. And I don't believe, frankly, that Rob's done a good job. And I think Jeannie still holds the cards. And I think that she knows the Lakers are a mess. And if they're willing to give this guy this gigantic, they're saying it's gigantic, this offer. Like the biggest offer in NBA history is what this guy's about to get. Are you going to sit here and tell me he's going to turn that down to be a college coach in Storrs, Connecticut in the snow? Now, I know he's an East Coast guy. I'll give you that. That's the only thing I'll give you. He's a Jersey boy. He is a Jersey boy. He ain't even Connecticut. He's a Jersey City kid. So going to Los Angeles might be culture shock for him. But once he gets tan and it's 80 degrees every day year round, I think he'll like it. And, those walks on the beach in Malibu. I mean, it's just brutal going down to the shore and taking a stroll with your wife. Brutal. As opposed to, walking around Jersey City getting shot at.
Look, I think that we've said this for a long time, right? Everybody's got a price.
That's right.
One way or the other. At some level, everyone's always going to have a price. I think it's a weird mix. We've done this so many times in the past, talking about the great college coach moving to the next level. We've done it in football. We've done it in basketball. We do it all the time. The success rate isn't super high. Look, I think there's a part of me that he is going to extract more money out of UConn, but I don't think he's going to be able to extract as much as he would potentially get from this Laker gig. If he wants to actually coach in the NBA, which he has openly talked about in the past, in fact, in the past few months, he has openly talked about eventually wanting to coach in the NBA. Well, if the Lakers offer him enough money to go and do that, and listen, don't think that LeBron's not involved here. I've seen the tweets. Mafi just sent to me, and I saw him this morning. LeBron, a couple months ago after they won the national championship, Scotty, was just throwing bouquets at Dan Hurley. What a job this guy does, the sets that he runs, all that stuff.
Right.
LeBron's very aware of Dan Hurley and what he could do, and he knows what's going on with the Lakers.
Well, let me ask you this question. I have said on a number of occasions on SportsGrid that I don't believe that there's literally, in my view, less than 5 good coaches in the entire league. Less than 5. And I'm here to tell you that of all the teams, like that's like 90% bad coaches. And I mean to tell you, there are some hack-ass, broke-ass, terrible coaches in the NBA. I mean, just players don't listen to them. They just stand there and get paid all this money. to do nothing. All they do is lose, and they do nothing. Now, you're telling me that you would prefer to go through that recycled bullshit that they have in the NBA, the Steve Cliffords of this world. No offense, Steve, you suck. No offense. Glad you got all that millions. He's made roll over millions being a loser, just doing nothing but standing there, and no one respects the work he's done. That's just all there is to it. There are 90% hack coaches in that league. Who finally has the stones to go after the best college or the best basketball coach right now in the world is Danny Hurley. How do you not do that if you're Genie Bus and go for it over what you choose? And I'll tell you another thing. This guy, I said it to Gabe. Like JJ Redick, you talk about risky. This guy's never coached a peewee game.
Super risky.
So you're going to tell me that you're going to choose that guy over this guy? You must be stupid.
If there's a...
Why are they talking to him if they like JJ Redick so much?
Right. Look, they would, I think, 10 out of 10 times and twice on Sunday pick Hurley over JJ Redick to be the head coach because JJ Redick just simply hasn't been a coach. That is a very tough spot to be the head coach of the LA Lakers when you've never coached a day in your life. I don't care how great you look.
Would you take that job if you're JJ after they went right over you? They went right over him.
So if Hurley ends up not taking it and gets a boatload of cash from UConn and then they go, he would still take it. He would absolutely still take it.
Because they'll give him a 5-year deal with average money.
They'll still get. And I think I think he's built himself up now as kind of this guy that knows more than everyone else. I'm saying that's kind of how it comes off sometimes.
Well, he's imagining things.
I'm just saying. And look, I've said this before. We had this discussion the other day. I think in the NBA is where the head coach makes the least amount of impact. And you're right. There's a 10% that does. The Eric Spoelstras do make an impact on the game. Right. But like we were talking about this series right here, like this finals that's about to start. This is not about Joe Mazzulla or Jason Kidd. Let me tell you, they are not going to decide who wins the NBA Finals. The studs, Luka, Tatum, Kyrie, and Jaylen Brown, they're the guys who are going to decide who's going to win the NBA Finals. The coach does not mean as much as it does in the NFL or even in baseball where there's a lot of decisions.
But the creativity of his basketball mind and the way he motivates people and implements and works them and challenges them and makes the best come out of every player. It doesn't matter who it is. He's turned them all into players. You know what the Lakers have? I mean, they literally, in my opinion, have 2 good players, and the rest of them are garbage. Utter garbage. I'll give you this. I think D'Lo can score a lot, but he's such a little prima donna backstabber. He's already proven that he's a turncoat and he, screws over his teammates and whatever else. It's simple. They have nothing but garbage on that team. I am sorry. It's a garbage team. And what they need is someone to get rid of the garbage and come in and find players. And they're out there. There's a lot of people out there that love money, that can play basketball, that want to get better, that want to be great, that want to win a ring, that want to be on the Lakers, that want to lift that 18th banner. Believe me, this is the Los Angeles Lakers. I said before, why do they have television networks set outside the Crypt Arena? Like they do all of their broadcasting right there because they knob them all day long. They're the worst team, but they cover them like they're winning the ring every single year for 20 years in a row. They're the Los Angeles Lakers. This isn't Orlando Magic. I heard him say something. He should go to Charlotte. Charlotte? That's where you go when you want to retire or go to prison.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game time decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke day. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
In-game live, prime time.
3-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
In-game live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
If you're in the room, what are you doing with the Judge MVP number? Books are now 2-1, standalone favorite. What are you doing with the Judge number?
What do I do with the MVP? I let them bet Judge at what? Even money? Come on in. I mean, you have to acknowledge now that he's the guy.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole is getting ready to come back too. I guess this. Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, "Look, don't come back." I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Once a day play our free-to-play BetMGM swing for the fences for a chance at great prizes daily. Play as a batter and pick an area of the strike zone. Get a single, double, triple, homer, fly out, play it once a day. It's a free-to-play promotion. BetMGM Sportsbook account holders who play the BetMGM swing for the fences are going to have the opportunity to get rewards if they get a hit. And that includes parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, single-game parlay boost tokens, bonus spins in eligible casino states. I mean, these people are giving it all away, including bonus bets. You heard me. All the rewards expire in 24 hours. Carver High wins them all the time and then just goes immediately after his show late night when everybody's asleep at the crib in Strong Island, and he just starts cashing in his rewards.
I got a single today.
It just never ends. It's just constant.
I got a single today,
winning.
and I think it was a SGP boost token. So we'll have to maybe do like a little like Soto and Judge homer in a Yankee game tonight together. We'll have to put that together. Single game parlay use for that one. And one last thing on this, and then we got to get to Dallas and Boston. I said to you before, this will also cause, if this happens, the other side of the coin here is the trickle effect it'll cause in the college game, because they're going to have to get somebody to fill that chair for the two-time defending national champions if he does leave. And I don't think they just go assistant on the bench. I don't think that they're going to do that. Not with how good that team is. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And here's the deal. I don't believe, and I'll say this right now, so let's say he stays. If he stays, I still don't believe they win 3 in a row after losing all those players to the NBA draft. Very hard. Keeping Caravan, no Castle, no Klingon. Don't get me started. They're not winning again. Okay, so he knows that. And if he leaves, all the players leave. So what? Players leave now in 5 seconds with the transfer portal anyway. Guys are going from this team to that team every minute of the day. They showed a picture of Danny once when the portal opened up and he was crawled up in a ball on the floor in his office, sucking his thumb. Like, it's brutal. And if you're not Hurley or Calipari and they give you $5 million in NIL money to disperse to your players to pay the best players to come to stores, then what's the point? So I don't believe they're winning it anyway, even if he stays. 2 in a row is unheard of. 3 in a row is John Wooden. Now, I don't deny how great he is, but I think they lost way too much to go do it again, particularly, Mike, with the level of about 6 teams that are really good in college basketball going into this season. Like, there's no one on UConn, and I'm going to say it right now. There's not one player that can stop Cooper Flagg. Not one. This guy's gonna dunk on people's faces at Duke. And I already said it. I hate Duke dead, but I think they're going to win it all with this guy. I mean, this guy's 35, 40 a night. I mean, he just takes over. Like this white boy he ain't Larry Bird. I mean, this guy skywalks like Dominique Wilkins. I mean, Skywalker white boy. And, he's played at every level, and wherever he goes, he dominates. It does not matter. He's going to be the number 1 NBA draft pick, and he's going to be the best player in college basketball this year. You thought Connect was good at Tennessee? He makes that guy look homeless. So UConn's not winning it again 3 times. You can quote me on this. Roll the tape again. I don't think they win 3 in a row. 2 in a row is unheard of. 3 in a row, to me, is impossible in college basketball. And that's just all there is to it. I don't know anyone. I'll believe it when I see it. That this guy, if they offer him 10 years and all the money in the world guaranteed and all the power with absolute total control, and that, Rambus and Rob can go golfing because we don't listen to you anymore. You just get a paycheck to watch the games because I'm in charge now. If they give him that, there's no way he turns it down.
I'm with you. That kind of money, he's not going to do it.
Unless his wife likes snowfall and, shoveling the driveway.
That's
and I guarantee
you,
she don't shovel the driveway. They got a guy comes in there every day for 100 and cleans that puppy.
No doubt. I saw Goody mention that he thought that UConn would go after Bruce Pearl if they lost Hurley.
I think he should go after Nate Oates.
That's another guy right there that maybe you want to go after.
And they may win the national championship.
Heavy hitter club only up there. I know the rest of the Big East is hoping that it happens. I know that. I've seen fans of all the Big East teams today. Go on, Danny. Go on out there. Head west. You'll do great things out there. You go. If anything happens,
Pitino's jealous because he's an old man. I don't know. He's an old man now.
But Rick lived the life, like you said to Gabe. Like, Rick lived this life already. He did this. He coached in the NBA. He coached the Boston Celtics. He coached everything. Like, he lived this life.
I thought he did a great job.
And had that opportunity. And then he went back to college. And that's something that Dan can do, too. He could go to the Lakers. It could not work out after 3 or 4 years. And he'll be the number 1 guy out there for a college to bring back. No, without question. And he'll get big money to go back to college. So the door will be open for him to return if it doesn't go well, like every other huge college coach who's ever tried to go to the pros. They will have no problems whatsoever.
I honestly, I'm going to say this lastly, put a final dent in this. And I want to hear what Coach has to say later about it. But I think he's better than all of them that have ever done it. Like, so Pitino, Calipari, Quinn, Snyder, all the guys that have done it, that have tried it. I think Danny is a better coach than all of them. And that includes Rick Pitino. I believe 100 that Dan Hurley is a better coach than Rick Pitino. And I think Pitino's one of my favorites. I think he's one of the greatest coaches ever in college history. I also believe, and I'll say it, he didn't win 5 like Krzyzewski, but he's a different kind of coach than Krzyzewski. Mike Krzyzewski was never crazy like this guy is. But I think Dan Hurley's better than him, too.
I think Mike always loved living that life in Durham. He just loved being there. Never wanted to.
He was a softie. He was friends with the players and their families, and he was like a grandpa. And this guy is not your grandpa.
We'll come back. You'll talk to Craig about the Belmont Stakes coming up on Saturday. And then at the top of the hour, we will start to get into it. Boston and Dallas, game 1 tonight. NBA Finals. Let's do it, baby.
Breaking all the rules today, talking about Danny Hurley for almost an hour. God bless.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game time decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke day. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
In-game live, prime time.
3-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
In-game live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen and watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
If you're in the room, what are you doing with the Judge MVP number? Books are now 2-1, standalone favorite. What are you doing with the Judge number?
What do I do with the MVP? I let them bet Judge at what? Even money? Come on in. I mean, you have to acknowledge now that he's the guy.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole's getting ready to come back too. I guess this. Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, "Look, don't come back." I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
How about our guy, Craig Milkowski from the Daily Racing Form, as we get ready to go to the spa for the Belmont Stakes. Craig, it's 1.25 miles. It's not 1.5 miles. How does it change the betting angle for people? Because I've been to the Belmont 50 times, and it's a mother load, that race, especially in the heat. And I've been there and seen it. The spa is a lot different. They have better restaurants up there. They have great parties up there. But the Belmont track itself is way brutal compared to this.
Yeah, it's a much shorter race, obviously. Normally the Belmont's 1.5 miles. It's only 1.25 miles. As a betting guy, when you're looking at the Belmont Stakes, it's usually a lot of question marks because you don't know who can handle that distance. Most of the horses have never run it before, and they'll never run it again. And the vast majority of cases. This year, we have a little more handle. There's a lot of horses coming back from the Kentucky Derby. The horses have run close to the distance. So it's more like a normal race than a typical Belmont Stakes when it's run downstate.
So when I hear all the time that, if you're a favorite in one of them, of the three, the Derby, the Preakness, or the Belmont, usually the horses that are favored, they get one of them. So are you buying that shtick that Sierra Leone, the favorite, who was literally a favorite in the Kentucky Derby, to finally win a race here? And I mean that with respect. I think it's a great horse.
Yeah, he's a good horse. He's won, I think it's 3 out of 5 with a couple of close losses, including that Kentucky Derby. But he's also a horse that has some issues. It got him in a little bit of trouble in the Kentucky Derby. He doesn't like to run straight through the stretch. He seems to make a left-hand turn and head towards the rail, and that's caused him some issues even when he wins. So that's something I think there's always a question mark when you're talking about favorites when they have some issues like that. So he's a horse I would definitely be a little bit leery of at what's going to be a really short price.
So Pletcher's going to go with this mind frame up against the big boys. The horse has only had a couple races. What do you think of that horse at 7-2?
It's another case of I want even less part of this one. He's a horse who's only raced 2 times. He hasn't really faced much competition at all in those 2 races. Obviously, he's been very impressive, winning by I think a combined over 20 lengths in those two starts, but I kind of would liken it to a basketball player starring at JV and suddenly he's playing D1 basketball the next time out. It's this a big step, and this. And there's also some breaking news. I saw this from my colleague at Daily Racing Form, Dave Grenick. His jockey was involved in a gate incident earlier and was taken to the hospital, Irad Ortiz. So there may be a change in game plans there. I'm sure we'll know more tomorrow about that, but he's getting x-rays. I guess he banged up his ankle pretty good. So that wouldn't be a good change either for such a lightly raced horse.
What has Todd got? Like 4 horses in this race?
I think it's 3. He is the one that will take the most money. He's got a couple horses who are double digits on the morning line, Antiquarian and Protective. Protective would be just a huge long shot. He's actually never won a race in his entire career. He hasn't run that many times. He's 0 for 4, but this would be quite a step. Antiquarian won the local prep, the Peter Pan Stakes. He ran a nice speed figure that day, so he would be the one that would have a little more chance than Protective, but it's not the usual strong hand that Todd Pletcher comes in with, particularly if you don't like Mind Frame.
That 6 horse and the 8 horse, you got Dornoch and the Marie horse, Honor Marie. They like to bolt fast, don't they? And on this shorter track, will that aid and abet them?
Dornoch has done his best running on the front end for sure. Honor Marie is the opposite. He likes to just drop back and make a big late run, and that caused him a lot of trouble in the Kentucky Derby where he was last early. He got really banged around at the gate. Just had a nightmare trip, and he's a horse I actually think is going to run a lot better in here. I think you can just draw a line through that race if you're looking at his past performances because he had no shot there. He should get some pace in front of him this time, but he'll be back there with Sierra Leone. They both have very similar running styles.
I got 15 seconds respectfully. Who do you like?
I'm going with number 2, Resilience, the Belmont trainee. I think he had a really tough trip in the Derby, and he's a horse who just gets better every single time out.
Awesome. That sounds like a deal to me. Craig, you're the man. Thank you. Enjoy the Belmont at the spa. Craig Milkowski, Daily Racing Form. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you.
The Warriors learn some of that split action that they run offensively and bring it to your own team. Folks, the name is Kenny Atkinson. Every time there is a job with a young core that needs to take the next step, I always think of Kenny Atkinson.
Only on SportsGrid.
The numbers might look crazy, especially depending on where you think Jared Goff falls in the National Football League. I would consider him, maybe as crazy as this sounds, a top 10 quarterback.
And again, the theory behind paying your quarterbacks and your top-rated players, pay them earlier. The longer you wait, it only costs you money. If you have a top-flight wide receiver, pay him here.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
That was Aaron Rodgers' thing. Took a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
It's a luxury pick. We don't have the luxury. We're trying to win right now. I'm in a window right now, and you're going to say, no, we're going to plan this for the future. With a guy who had 4 years, 4 seasons ended by injury. 4. Like, Michael Penix is a walking injury. Like, what are you doing taking him in the top 10?
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Using the parlays against one another, right? And being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.